Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. I'll just wait for a few minutes to have people join in and then we can start. Okay, I see enough people have joined in, so it's I think a good time to start and people are still joining. So I'll talk about the some of the questions in this week 2 assignments, and if there's any question before that, I would like to address those. So if you have any doubts and questions regarding whatever was covered in week 2, uh, then you can ask that.
Sir, what is slicing operations, sir?
Okay, so slicing exactly means that, say you have a large array or a list, whatever, like a collection of data, and you want to get a subset from that, like you want to get a small portion of it. So that's what slicing means. Just like you have, imagine a big cake and you want to slice from that cake, so a portion of that cake. Similar to that, you have a collection of data and you want to get a small piece of it, a small chunk of it, and that is called slicing. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. सर बट रिकॉर्डिंग वीडियो में जो हम लोग सीख देख रहे हैं वो कोड रन करने से मेरा कोड रन नहीं हो रहा है. कैन यू प्लीज एग्जांपल सर प्लीज?
Exactly which code are you talking about?
सर वीडियो कोड सीक्वेंस डेटा पार्ट 3 दैट वीडियो.
Exactly, can you tell me, give me the code snippet?
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir. The code is print in the first bracket.
okay, let me just a
str
minute then.
sample.
Let me share my screen and then I'll type it. You can as you say it, then that would be easier for me. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My screen is visible, right? Just to confirm.
Yep.
Okay, okay. So let me clear up my console. Yeah. Okay. Now, please tell me what you were talking about.
Sir, print
Yes.
in the first bracket str
Yes.
str sample
STR.
sample SAMPL.
Okay.
Next line, sir. Str sample.
Okay, so the first thing is str sample is not defined. So do you remember what was the value of str sample?
Sir, learning.
Okay. Yeah. So the print str sample, so you have learning printed. Yeah, this
Yes,
is
sir.
okay.
And in third, then str sample, then third bracket, then slice operator, then
str
in then
sample.
insert,
Hmm?
then sir range function 1, 4, 2, first bracket close, then third bracket close.
One. Okay, range. This is what you are saying, right? This is what you are saying, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So a string indices must be integers. I have never used something like this. What I would do is to get the output, what I think it is intending to do is basically this.
Yes, sir.
So
1, comma 4, comma 2.
yes, so the output is should be ER. Is the output ER for that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But sir, run नहीं हो रहा था, sir.
Yes, I think it's if you cannot pass range like that. So what you want to do at the end of the day is you have to start. What this says is your slices should start from the index number 1, which is E, and your slice should end at index number 4 or 4 minus 1, which is 3. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So your slice should be this EAR, but you should, I mean, your stepping should be in steps of 2, so only you have E and R. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So
Sir,
that's
yes.
all
Sir,
they wanted
yes.
to do, but I think it's not the right way to write like range in that like this way. As you see, it says what it I mean what you have to give in this box bracket is integers, because as you can see the error also says that string indices must be integers and range is not an integer. Is that clear?
Sir, in the first bracket, only 1, comma 4, comma 2. Then in third bracket.
Okay.
Sir, only first bracket में sir 1, comma 4, comma 2 range है. उसके
yes,
बाद
that,
sir,
yes, that's what I'm saying. So I think that's not the right syntax to write because it gives an error.
yes sir.
Did you get it? Did you understand it?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Okay, okay. And yeah, you can, I'm a just PhD student, so no need to call me sir. You can just call me by my first name. I am Alankar. I am a PhD student from IISc, and yeah, every one of you can just address by my first name. Okay. If there are no further questions, then I would discuss some of the questions from the assignment. Is that okay?
Should be
Sir,
fair,
is-
Alankar.
Okay.
सर इसमें करेक्ट कोडिंग क्या होगा तो एक एग्जांपल देकर सर बता दीजिएगा सर.
Which one?
सर दिस वन सर str sample.
Oh yes, this is what I showed you. Yeah, can you see the screen?
The fonts are too small.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me make it large. Just a minute.
Sir too small sir.
Yeah, yeah. Let me make it. Is this now better?
Sir, same thing we write.
Yes, the screen has increased, not the font size.
Same thing.
Sorry.
Screen size has increased, not the font.
Sir,
You can zoom your screen. Sir, you can control plus plus.
Yes, I am actually trying that, but somehow, yeah, I think I have been able to. Okay, yeah,
Much better.
yes, okay. So now you can see it, right? It's what's that. This is what I'm saying, that this is not the right syntax to write. The right syntax should be 1:4:2. What this means is you start from 1, you end at 4 minus 1, which is 3. You end at 3, and you increase from 1 by a step size of 2. So that would mean that in this string of learning, LEARNING, you start from 1, which is E. You go by step sizes of 2, and you should end at 3. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So you should end at N. But since your step size is 2, you only take E and R. So that's why you have E and R in as an output. Is that clear? So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so the first entry, you have to give an entry like in colons. This needs slicing in Python. The first entry is where you start from. The second entry is where you want to end plus 1. So if you want to end at 3, then you give 4. So this is what you give is just after where you want to end. And the last one is 2, means you want to step size of 2. If you do not give anything, by default the step size is 1. So there can be many examples which I can show you. For example, this is...
Sir, can you please scroll up 1 second?
Yeah. So there are some examples which I can show you. So as you know, str sample is this. So if you want to say give from, there are many ways of slicing. For example, if you give 2 column, what this would mean, you will start from 0, 1, 2. So you start from A and you'll go till the end. If you do not give anything, it goes till the end. So you have ARNING, right? And then what you can do even is something like 4. So when you give 2 colon 4, what this means is you start from A, but you will go till 3. So in learning 0, 1, 2, 3. So you will start end at R, right? So what you will have is A and R, because 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes. So A and R, because you will end at 3, because you have given 4 and it always ends at 1 less than what you have given. So it's A and R. And similarly, if you want to give something like 6, so this would mean 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will end at this N. But if you just give this, again, what you will get is ARNI. But if you want to have a step size of 2, then you will get only A and N. And how do you get that? So for that, what you do is you do this colon 2. So what this means is that it will start from A, but you will skip every one element because your step size is 2. So, oops. So what you will have for this is A and N, because you are stepping by 2 in, and as usual your original thing is learning cell. So that's basically the basics of how some slicing works, and hope this is clear. Is it?
Yes sir, but sir colon के बदले में हम लोग comma use कर सकते हैं?
Yes, there is one way of doing it. I have seen one a different way of doing it, like slice. There is the use of this slice method, but I have never used it. Let me try it once. I have seen this in the video. They were using something like 2, 6, comma.
Yes, sir. Sir, I have a question in the messages.
Yes.
Can you tell me?
Yes. I'll come to it. Just okay. So you can also use something like this.
Okay, sir.
So this is exactly same as this. This is in 10. In 10 is exactly same as in 12. It's just that a different way of writing it. In the messages, let me see. Population.
So what is the difference between biased and unbiased standard deviation?
Okay, so what can happen in a standard deviation is that your data can have a different weightage, and then you have to multiply your data by different weights in a standard deviation. What I mean by that is, imagine that you have taken multiple subjects in a semester, but all the subjects have not the same weightage or same percentage in calculating your entire CGPA. So what you would need then is weigh each of the subjects by the credits assigned to each of the subjects which you have taken for the particular semester. So that is what is meant by a bias in a standard deviation, and sometimes people use biases, and one practical example is what I have given you right now. Okay, I think I'll come to the assignment section because people are asking for that, and then we can again come back to all these doubts. Okay, so you can see my screen, right? I have opened up practice assignment. Are you?
Yes,
The
sir.
screen is
Okay.
visible.
Okay.
Font is little bit.
Yes, I will once again make it larger. So
Okay,
is the
fine,
font
fine.
size better? Okay, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is again asks for how do you convert a string which is something like this to a string which is something like this. So what there is a this is a standard string method called title which does this, and I think this was discussed in the videos as well. So what the title method does is it just makes the beginning character uppercase, and you can also have a look at this like sorry, let me open this. Yes, so in title what you can do is uh, you can like there is a very helpful tool Python has called help, and you can just look for anything you want. For example, if you want to look at what title does, you can just give something like this, and you see you will get a small description of what title does. So return a version of the string with each word in title case. So this is what it is doing. The beginning character is always made caps. Okay. So the right answer will be A dot title.
title.
Yes, yes. Similarly, here what it says is that you want to add notebook to the first level of the list stationery. So you see what this first does is just creates a list of these different strings. The next is again a list of these different numbers, and then brand is again a list of many different strings. And what stationery is doing is it's creating a list of lists. So product is a list itself. So I can just copy this and show you. Let me do this. So you have a product, then you have something called price, then you have something called brand, and okay, great. So you can also see these in variable explorer. Like here you can see like all the different brand, price and product, 3 different strings have been created. But anyways, let me then copy the next one, and then you'll see what I mean by string of strings. So sorry, list of lists. Here it is. Oops. Yes, so let me just then print these in here. So you can see this this is list 1, this is then list 2, and this is the list 3. So you have 3 a list which is inside which there are 3 lists. And what this question is doing saying is you want to add notebook to you want to add notebook as the first element inside the first level. So the first level is the product. So is the product thing. So to understand that, what is this, you can do is stationery 0, right? So what this shows is this first level, and in this one, in this list, you is saying how you would add something called a notebook at the first position. So if you want to add something in a string at the first position, what you have to do is you have to not append. What append will do is it will add at the last, but what insert will do is insert at the 0th position, which is the first position. So you have to do something like this. So you copy this, and you'll see that in this what stationery 0 means the first list of this collection of lists, and to this is already a list, and to this list you want to append notebook to the first position. So you do this. Now what you do is, let's print it and you'll see what has happened. So you see here in the first list you have one more stuff which is which got added to you can also see this if you do stationery 0. You just print this as well, you'll see the same thing. Notebook is added. Hope this is clear. Oops, me go back. Yeah, so this is clear in here. Here you will see asks for set. This is also pretty clear. In set, you to remove all the elements, there are like multiple options in here. So let's see what's the right option for a set. And what you can do is, again, you can make use of help. Let me just open these two tabs side by side, perhaps that is better. Yes. Now what I want to do is, yeah, set. So let me try all of these, and then you'll know what how to use help. So I think it's also a good way to get familiarized. So you'll have something like a set, and let's see what remove does. So remove an element from a set. It must be a member. So what it does is, otherwise it raises an error. So remove should not be, because it says all members, but it just removes one element. I want to remove all the elements, so this is not the right option. You can select discard. So again, what it does is removes one element, but it doesn't raise an error when the element is not found. So this is again not the right one. And then let's see what clear does. Remove all elements from this set. So this is what the question asks, so this is the right answer for that, right? Similarly, my list. So this asks what would be the index of D. So whenever you ask for dot index, it just gives you the first occurrence. So there can be multiple occurrences later on, but the index that it returns is the index of the first occurrence, so which will be this one. I guess this is the first occurrence of D, and all, anyways you do not also have repetition. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what you will expect is 7. So let me also try this as well. Oops. Oh, I think I have to just not copy these. So there are two ways, and I think 3 B's. Two C's. A G and a E. This is my list, and it just asks for what's the index of this. So this comes out to be 7, as I was saying, because your first occurrence of it is 7. I mean, if you have multiple occurrences, then also what it will give is the first occurrence. For example, if I just put in one more D in here, and then if I give it with the same, ask the same thing, so it will be now 0, 1, 2, 3. It will be now 3. So as you see, you can see the answer now changes to 3. I hope this is clear. And what's the following Python sequences? Okay, so as the video also discussed this, lists, you can add elements, add and delete elements in a list. In a dictionary, you can also add and delete elements. So in your array, you can introduce more elements, you can take away elements, but in tuples are immutable, because once you create a tuple, you cannot change the contents of a tuple. To demonstrate that, I can show you something like A equals 1, 2, 3. Oops, 3. So this A now becomes a tuple. Okay, so one way of writing this is also like this. So this both of them mean the same thing. So A now becomes a tuple. Once A becomes a tuple, if you cannot like do A0 equals to 4, this is not allowed, because a tuple, that's what it's saying, does not support item assignment. So your tuple is not going to change your item. So this is it, I guess. But say if your A is an array, then you can happily do this. For example, let me create, or a list as well. So A as a list, and now if I do the same thing, I can happily do this, and then I'll have A4 to 3. So this is what it means, that tuples, once you create it, you cannot change the elements of tuple. They are immutable. Okay. So is the quick assignments. So here you can see the okay. So numpy.reshape. So there are two ways of reshaping an array. You either give an array and reshape it. So okay, let me demonstrate that. So import numpy as np, and let me create a numpy array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for demonstration, let this be the array which you want to create, and let me just do a dot reshape say 2 comma, so you have 6 elements, so 6, so it's 2 rows and 3 columns, and as you see you get an array of 2 rows and 3 columns. So that's how you reshape it. You can also give -1. What this will do is it will automatically find out how many columns it will need just to have 6 elements, and it will have 2 rows and 3 columns. Both mean the same thing. And there is another way of doing it. The way you do it is you call np.reshape, which is numpy.reshape, and give the name of the array, which is a comma 2 comma 3, and you get the same thing. So this is these are two ways of doing it, and rest is create tuples as below, and then as I was saying, you cannot which does not work. So this obviously will not work because again you cannot change an element of a tuple once you have done it. Declare the tuple like this. Similarly, create a sequence of numbers from 15 to 25, increment of 4. What is the index of the element 19? So if you create a sequence from 15 to 4, then your first element is 15 and your increment is 4, so after 15 the next element should be 19, right? So its index should be 1 because the first index of the first element is 0. So just to show that, how do you do that? You can use numpy, so you can do numpy dot a range. You are starting from 15, you wanna end at 25, and I think your increment is by 4. This is going to work. Yes. So 19 is this second element whose index is obviously 1 because in Python indexing starts from 0, unlike say Fortran. Chemist. So okay, this is a good, I think an interesting way. This is typical of Python. What means in Python, what you can do is you can also call elements from the other direction. Like for example, if you do job 0, what this will mean is the first element, which is C in here. But you can also count from the other way around. Like if you give job of -1, then this will mean the last element, which is T. Similarly, you can -2, so this will mean the second last element, which is S. -3 is the third last element, I, and so on. So you can also count it from the other way around, but you have to give a negative sign to your index, and that would mean that you are counting from the other way around, which this is typical in Python and does not work in many other languages. But now what this question says is that it wants to get the last character from the string. So as I was saying, the last character, the obvious way of doing it is just job -1, but there is one other way of doing it which is commonly done in most of the other programming languages. So like in C is this len job. So len job is nothing but the length of your string. So CHEMIST. So this is I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. So 7 is the length of your string, and since your first element starts from 0 and your last elements then would have the value of 6 because you are starting from 0 and your total have 7 elements. So the last one, another way of writing the last element is len job -1, and then again you will have T. So these are two different ways of meaning the same thing, which is the last element. For example, if you want to get the second last element, again what you can do is len job -2, third last element len job -3, and this is same as just giving just a -3, because that's how Python counts. So given a list of this, which of the following is the most efficient way to determine the unique elements? Okay, so this is, I think, more of a maths question than computers Python related question. So what so given you have a list like this, let me just copied it and I pasted it, and you want to get only the unique elements. So a set is a mathematical entity where you have only unique elements. There is no repetition in a set. So what you can do is you can just convert this to a set, and what this set would have is only the unique elements in here and not any repetition. So, and set doesn't have any order, so order can be any arbitrary, but just here it arranges in ascending order, but in general set has an arbitrary order, as you might have seen in the videos as well. And you cannot also address any element of a set by any index, because no indexing is possible for sets. Okay, so this is like for a dictionary.
Sir?
Yes, please tell me.
So can't we convert it into a Numpy array and use np.unique function?
Yes, you can. That's another way of doing it. It's just out of all these, I am just saying which is the way of doing it.
Okay, that's also correct, no sir?
Yes, that's correct, but I think that's not the most straightforward way of doing it. But yeah, it is also one possible way of doing it.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Yeah, and yeah, again, I want to say that you can just call me by my first name. That's okay, totally fine by me. Okay. Given dictionary of states. Okay, so this question says how do you want to delete some element of a set. So there are two of a dictionary. So this is a dictionary and you want to eliminate an element of a dictionary. So what you would do is, there are two ways of doing it. One is you copy this. Hopefully I can copy this and I don't have to type. Yes, thank you. Then what I can do is I can tell, so one possible way is, okay, so when you want to delete something, you give del and give the element and the index. Because this is a dictionary, your index are the keys, so which is like the first element in this pair. These are called the keys. So the full name of each of these Indian states are your keys in here. And if you want to delete any item, you just give the name of the key. So which is one possible way of doing it is then this. Let me show that. Oh, wow. So this will again, now if you again just look at what's the position of states, you see that Karnataka is gone. So this is one way of doing it. Another way of doing this will be, let me again redefine it. And another way of doing this will be pop. What pop would do is it will just pop the element. And here also the same way, you just tell which one to pop, and this will pop it, I believe. Let me check. Oops, sorry. Yeah, and it will just show the element which it has deleted, which is obviously KA. And now if you again do states, you'll see Karnataka has been eliminated from this dictionary. So that's it. And if you go to rest of these, you will get some kind of an error, and this will not work because these are not the right syntax of doing this. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Sir, in question 6, is it not possible to create a dictionary using a list?
No, it's not possible.
A list of tuples. You
Yes.
can give a key value pair.
Yes, that way, yeah, that way it's possible. That way it's possible, but directly you cannot. Like you have to create a list, and in each of the elements of your list will be a tuple.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed it. Yes, if you think
So
about
this
that.
is
that
also
yes.
there.
Yes, that way it's possible, and I think that's also shown in the video. Like there are two different ways of creating list. Sorry, I missed this. Yes, that's where it's also possible. Yes, you are right. But if you cannot like have this entry as a list. That's what I was going to say. That, for example, this has to be, this entry can be a number or a string, the one I am highlighting here, but this entry cannot be a list, obviously. But you can create a data structure by using like pairs of entry and value, and that is one way of creating dictionaries. Yes, all right. Okay. Okay. So next, let's go to the next question. Here, what it says is it's a kind of a trick thing that you have. You want to create something like this, where you already have a quote, like single or double, whatever maybe, but you already have a quote and in your string itself. And how do you create a string which already has a quote? But your string itself, to define a string, you need a quote in the first place. So there are two ways of doing it. One is used for string, you use a double quote, which is this, and ICHI. If you do this and print this, for example, you would get something like this, which means that obviously this worked, and you will have a small quote inside, which is a single quote. While if you do something like this, this is not the right way of doing it, because as you can see that Python doesn't understand which is the part of the string and where to end the string. So to get rid of this and still use a single quote, what you can do is you can give a slash. Whenever you give a slash, what Python will know that, okay, to treat this quote as not the end of the string but part of the string itself. And this is another way of doing the same thing, and you will get the same output. So either you use double quotes, so that Python will know that the string starts with double quotes and ends with double quote, and then this single quote will be taken as a part of the string. But when you do the same thing with a single quote, you give us backslash and then a single quote, then it will know that not to use this quote as a ending of the string, but to use this quote as a part of the string itself. So is the case for double quotes as well. For example, if this single quote is a double quote, then one way of doing it is obviously using single quotes, and then it will know that this double quotes is a part of the string. But if you use now double quotes, this is a problem, because it will not know where to end, and to make it know that this is not the end of the string but part of the string, you can give a backslash, and again everything is fine. So this is it. And the last question is asks for sum, and as you can see, you have a 2D array of 9 elements, I believe. So you have an array of 9 elements, and what the output is the is sum along the rows, I believe, because yes. So if you want to sum along the rows, so there are several ways of how np.sum works. So let me just demonstrate each of them. So if you just give np.sum arr, it will sum every element, like all the element together, and it will give you 59. This is not what you want. If you give np.sum arr axis equals to 0, it will sum along the columns, and then you will get 24, 19 and 16. This is also not what you want. You want sum along the rows. So to sum it along the rows, you give axis equals to 1, and you will get 24, 15 and 20. So this is sum along the rows. And I think this concludes week
Alanka?
2. Yes.
Nine
Yes.
points
What's
we have
the
left.
sorry? What's the
Question 9
difference
is
between? Sorry.
not discussed. Question number 9 was not discussed.
Did I miss 9? Okay. Oh yes, this is like how do you create a NumPy array. So these are all the different ways. All this will create an array. So If you give a numpy.array, it will create an array. Numpy.zeros also creates an array, but with zeros, and numpy.mp also, nt also creates an array. So I think this is what it is. And you can also, again, if you are stuck anywhere and want to know what it is, you just give num and help, and just give this, and it will tell you. It will also show you examples of doing it. Similarly, if you give help, it will again tell you what different things to do, and then help is your friend here, and empty, it just creates an empty array which is uninitialized. Yes, someone else was asking something. Please go ahead.
Yes, Alankar. What's the difference between array and a list?
Yes. So the difference between an array and a list is that in a list you can have elements of different types together. So what I mean by that is, for example, you can have two. You can have something like an apple, and something like, even inside a list, something like a 5, 1, 2, 3, something like this as well. And this is perfectly fine. You can have multiple different types of data types and whatever you wish inside a list. But in an array, the collection has to be of the same data type. Each element has to be of the same data type. So this is one of the major differences between a list and an array. You cannot have each element to be different. You can have array of arrays, but all the elements has to be of the same data type. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes. Third question. Yeah, do you want me to talk about memory management? I can talk about it. There is something called, in functions also, pass by reference and pass by values as well, related to this memory management.
So I have a question on np.arrange function.
Okay, yeah, please ask.
Sir, if I want to sum like 100 numbers between 15 and 16, and 15 and 20, so how can I create them?
Yeah, I don't think np.arrange is a good option for you to do that. What you need to use is linspace instead of arrange. So what you can do is something like this: np.linspace, and I think this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is more frequent thing which I use than arrange. And you want to say between 15 and 16, sorry, 15 and 19, say, whatever, and you want 1000 elements, so you just give this and it will automatically generate you 1000 elements between your starting and stop included. This is the one way of doing it. So it's a huge one. Let me just give 10 just to show you. So you see, and this will be in arithmetic progression, so they will be separated in such a way that they are equally spaced.
Please discuss the first question, sir.
First question of practice assignment or this assignment? Sorry, first question of practice assignment or
The element which we are teaching now, sir.
the practice assignment or the assignment 2? Practice assignment 2 or assignment 2? Which first?
Assignment.
Assignment. Okay. So there is this reshape thing which I was saying that there are two ways of reshaping it. I think I showed at some point. Let me go back. Yes, here it is. So I create an array and I want to just reshape that array to a different way. There are like a different way, and there are like two ways of reshaping it. One is this way where you just you just give the name of the array and dot reshape, and it just reshapes your array to whatever way you wish. While there is another way, is just calling the numpy function directly and passing the array as an argument in numpy.reshape, which is this, and this are basically the same, does the same job for you, while rest of them is not the right way to do it. Yeah. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Sir, can you please repeat which among 0 and 1, sir, in question 10, if for axis equals 0 or 1, which is used for column and
Okay, columns is 0 and rows is 1.
Oh,
It's the other way around. Although the way you define shape is row comma column, but while axis, when you give 1, it is along the columns, and 0 is 0 is along the columns and 1 is along the rows.
okay, sir. Thank you. And another question is for question 6. Which of the following data structure is used as a key while creating an array? Is it both list as well as string?
Yes, it's both list as well as a string. So there are two different ways of creating a dictionary. But one thing you have to keep in mind is you cannot have a key of a dictionary as a list. You can have the value of a key as a list, but you can never have key of a dictionary as a list. So what do I mean by that is, for example, in these question 7, you see dictionary, and here the full name of the states. This cannot be a list, but
Okay.
the short name, which is this one, this can be a list. The value which you assign to a key can be a list, but you cannot have a list which is for a key. A key has to be either can be a string, can be a number, but it can never be a list.
Okay.
But you can create a data structure as a list, but what that list will have are pairs, like of tuple, like a tuple. So you say if you want to create this as a list, you will have multiple tuples, and each tuple will be a pair. The first element of the pair will be your key, and the second element of the pair will be the value you want to assign to each of the key, and it will be a list of tuples. Is that clear?
Yeah, I get it. And can you please explain question 2 also?
Yes, sure. Okay, so this question 2, this is similar to one of the practice questions in the week 2 assignment, and this shows that tuples, once you create them, you cannot change the tuples themselves. And what this mean is that the last option is changing the element. The rest of the options are not changing any of the element of the tuple. For example, the third option, tuple 2 plus tuple 1, it doesn't change any element of the tuple. It just creates a new tuple combining the two tuples 2 and 1.
Yes.
But what the last option is doing is just tries to change the element of the tuple, and tuples are immutable. So this is not allowed. And you can try this, and you'll see that you will get an error once you try to do it.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, again, I sorry if I have not introduced myself. I am Alankar, and you can call me by my first name. There's no need to call me sir. Yes, you can use indexing in tuples. But again, if you want to know the difference between reshape and resize, again, what the best thing you can do is you can use the help. So say you want to know np dot reshape. You will get an help for it, and let me know if this help is not good enough, then you can discuss more, and similarly you can do for resize as well. And just look at the help, and perhaps you will know, like what this is showing saying is that it returns a new array with the specified shape, and what this is saying is it gives a new shape to an array without changing its data. So this is the thing, one changes the data while the other does not. Let me know if there is a problem. Yes, linspace. So tuples are similar to lists, but the only difference is that as far as syntax is concerned, it's in first bracket, and the only difference is that in tuples you cannot change the elements of a tuple once you create them. What's linspace? Okay, linspace, what linspace will do is that it just creates an array for you which starts from whatever you give as the starting index, and it ends at whatever you give as the ending value. So this is the starting value, and then the other one is the ending value, and 10 is the number of elements that you need. So what this will give you is that it will create an array between 15 and 9, and the spacing between them is constant. So this will create an array between 15 and 9 in arithmetic progression, which means that the spacing between them is constant.
I have another question too.
Yes, sure.
I just tried copying and pasting question 10 in the Spider console. When I did that, it says NP is not defined.
Okay. So you have not actually imported Numpy. So what you can do is you just have to give something like a import Numpy as NP. Oops. So what this would mean is that you have to import Numpy, and once you do this, I think this will work. What this means is that since Numpy is a big word to write every time, so this is an alias. So instead of writing Numpy every time, you just write NP. It's just
so can I use the same on the text editor as well?
Yes, sure, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, memory management is a way how memories are work in Python, and the way you would do that is depends upon the type of the variables. And when you are looking at variables which are like integers and not a collection of a lot of variables, like integers or floats, then they are assigned, like when you copy it to a different value, then they are just copied, the value is copied. While for arrays, the memory location is copied, and when you change it, the change is reflected. What I mean by that is, like, say you do x equals to 2 and y equals to 3. Say you have two variables. Let me just print them. X is 2 and y is 3. Now what you want to do is, these are just numbers. So now if you do a y equals x, then again you will see that y has changed to 2 because you have already done y equals to x. But now the problem, there is no problem in it. Now what you can do is, if you change x here, say if you make x equals to 5 and y still remains 2, because when you did a y equals to x, just the value of x has been copied, not the address of x. But this won't be the same when you do the same thing for list. For example, let's x be a list 1, 2, and y is also be a list 2, 3, 6, right? Now if you do y equals to x, what this will happen is, if you just print x and print y, you will see both to be the same. But now if you change y, automatically your x is going to get changed. So let me do that. So if I do y equals to say 5 comma 6 comma 7, and now if I print y, obviously y I have changed, but if I do x, it did not. Okay, so I think it perhaps used to happen with
So
NumPy
try
arrays.
indexing.
Yes.
Try and change the indexing element.
You mean this? I mean y0. Okay, let me try this. If I do y0 to be 2, and now if I do an x, no, this is not working. Let me see. And now if I do y0 as 2, and now if I do an x, yes, you see that x has changed. Yeah, thanks for that. So if you as I was saying, that if you do a y equals to x and now later x equals to y, it doesn't copy the value of x. So that's why when you are changing y, x automatically gets changed when you are using collections of arrays, because it just copies the memory address, and both x and y refers to the same chunk in the memory, and so when you change one, the other gets changed automatically. But when you do the same thing for values themselves, like a number, which is can be a float or an integer, or even a like a float or an integer, this will not happen, because every time you do an x equals to y or y equals to x, whatever you wish, what will happen is your elements are going to refer to will get copied, and memory addresses won't be copied, so you do not point to the same portion in the memory. This is one thing about memory management which I can roughly talk about in here.
So do you have any recommendation for website source or any book for advanced NumPy and pandas?
NumPy, I generally, what I do is whenever I'm stuck with something, I just Google it, and Stack Overflow generally helps me out with the solutions. But if you want something more concrete, I would, I really don't know right now. There is in general there is a Python. Geek for Geeks is a good place to go when you want to do anything about Python. Do they have something like specific to NumPy? I'm not sure actually. Let me see.
I have tried on this, but they're not advanced level.
Yeah, I never like done anything about means haven't studied NumPy like in a structured manner. What I do is generally I try solving some problem, and whenever I'm stuck with something and I want to use NumPy or want to do something, I just Google, and Stack Overflow is generally the best place where I get the answers. Yeah, sorry, right now I do not have anything at the top of my head which I can tell you, but perhaps I'll search a bit and get back to you. Can you drop me an email on that? Then I'll reply to that email once if I find something interesting. Is that okay?
Okay.
Hello, I have
Yes.
a doubt in question number 2.
Question 2. Okay.
Question assignment 2 in question 2.
Yes.
सर नॉर्मली टापेल में इंटीजर रहता है, उसके बाद सर स्ट्रिंग भी रहता है, उसको हम लोग टापेल कहते हैं, लेकिन क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 पे सिर्फ इंटीजर है, इसको हम एरे क्यों नहीं कह रहे, टापेल क्यों कह रहे हैं इसको?
Because any tuple starts with a first bracket. Whenever you have a first bracket in here, you will know that it's a tuple, or anything without any bracket. Either you will have two first bracket or without any bracket, then that would mean that the data type or the collection is a tuple.
Okay, sir. It is also array also.
It's not an array because you will have a box bracket. If you have a box bracket, then you will know that it's an array. While whenever you have first bracket or no brackets, just commas and without any brackets, then this will mean that what you are having is a tuple.
ओके सर, सर ब्रैकेट फर्स्ट ब्रैकेट रहेगा जब सर उसको हम लोग टपल कहेंगे.
Yes, exactly. Or something without any brackets is also a tuple.
ओके सर, ओके, थैंक यू सर.
Yeah, sorry, I can understand Hindi, but my Hindi is not that great. I
Excuse
hope
me,
that's
Alankar.
okay.
Alankar,
Yes,
excuse
yes,
me.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. In question 1, I was just googling out for reshape, and there they are defining another attribute called order. So, what exactly is the syntax for reshape and shape? Can you explain?
Yes, the order is something like there is some thing called order. So there is like, I think there is a C type and
Yeah, yeah,
Fortran
yeah.
type. Yes. So what sometimes happens is that people want to there is something called a row major and column major arrays. What that means is that how do you in memory the arrays are arranged in a certain manner. So there, as far as the memory is concerned, it doesn't know whether, say for example, your array is a 2D array or a 3D array, what shape of array is. It's just in memory laid out as a 1D array, like a chunk of space where you just put in the elements. Now how do you put in that elements? Do you put in elements row wise? That what I mean by that is, for example, say you create a Numpy array like a is equals to, do I have an array already? Yes. So for example, I create an array like this, and let me just reshape it. So this is one example array, and as you can see, this has 2 rows and 3 columns, right? Now in memory, this is laid out as a single length of an array. Now what the default is, default order for Python is the same as for C, which is called row major. So how you will lay this in memory is 1 2 3 then 4 5 6 and not column major. While there is another way of arranging it in memory, which is 1 4 2 5 3 6, right? This is also a valid way of arranging it, which is column major, and this is how arrays are arranged actually in other programming languages like Fortran. And why is this here? I mean, why the order thing is here is that sometimes what happens is, say you have written some code, some old code or something written in Fortran, and that is stored on your disk, on your memory, and you want to read that from your memory. So then you have to know the order in which you are reading it, and for that reason they have one extra argument. They have given the possibility of one extra argument like order, which says that in which order you wanna have the array being laid out. Is it column major or row major? But by default it's row major, and same as in Python, which is same as C. But there is also another way, which is column major, which is used in Fortran. I think this is clear, is it?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I got it.
I guess it's already time.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes, please tell me.
I have a doubt.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, in other programming language, array concept is also there, you know.
Yes, 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 sure.
Yeah, in Python also it is there. Even list concept is also there, correct?
Not in all, but in some it is there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, in Python it is list concept is there. Even we can use array also in Python, correct?
Yes, yes, sure.
What is the major difference, sir? Because almost same features are there, you know.
I mean, major difference between what C and Python or what other
Yeah,
language?
Python array and Python list.
Okay, as I was saying that the list can have like in line 10, not here, like I was discussing a while ago. So a list can have elements which can be of any data type, while each of the element can be as wild and as different as they can be in a list. But in an array, all the data type, all the elements in the data type of all the elements has to be the same in an array. So for example, you can have an array of integers. That would mean that all your entries in the array should be an integer, but in a list you can have strings, you can have any other type. So the data type is not same in a list. So that's the difference between a list and an array.
And that mutability concept is there, in list.
List is you can change anything in the list. So list is not mutable for sure. Only tuples are the things which is immutable, because you cannot change anything in a tuple.
Sir, one more thing. Any values in list, can be represented in any dimension,
Any values in a list can be, yes. You can have list of arbitrary dimensions.
Arbitrary dimensions, but in
Yes.
array it is not possible.
Yes. In array also you can have an array of arbitrary dimensions, like 2D arrays, 3D arrays, 4D arrays.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
The
So
only
today till
difference-
you are
yeah.
covering with arrays, sir, today?
Yes, I was covering what was more or less covered, except for this memory management thing which people have asked, more or less what was covered in week 2 videos.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome, and you can just call me by my first name. No need to call me sir.
Okay.
So I guess
Alanka?
yes. Please tell me. Hi, please tell me.
Sir?
Yes, please tell me.
Sir, can you tell me how much Python is enough for data science? I mean that I can, do I need decorator meta classes, all this advanced classes, object oriented for data science?
Yeah, it's good to know advanced like object oriented programming. It's, I would say, a different approach to how things are done, but it's not something that you would need on the first place to just to get started. So the idea is that you just start doing what you want to do in a project, and then on the way you just learn whatever you need to learn, because you just cannot just learn everything and get started, because there is no limit to everything. So the idea is you just get started and learn on the way whatever you need to learn. So this is how I think my approach of doing things, and it works out for me.
Alka?
Yes.
Sorry, I had to attend another class, so I was late.
It's okay.
Can you give some light on a key in a dictionary? It was mentioned in one of the assignment questions. So
keys
it said,
are,
yeah.
So keys are I mean, for example, in an array or a list, what you do is to access any element of a list, you use an index, right? Which is 0, 1, 2, 3, which says which index you want to access. So what happens in a dictionary is dictionary has no specific index. What dictionary has is the key, which is the out of each pair, the first element is a key, and then the value assigned to that key. So to access any element of a dictionary, what you would do is, instead of giving an index, the index is the key that you supply. So that's the thing. For example, there was this example in here. Yes. For example, in this dictionary, the full name of the states are the keys. Yes. Please tell me.
सर इन डिक्शनरी की में 3-4 वैल्यू हो सकता है ना, एक की में एक ही वैल्यू रहेगा ना, एक की में 4-5 वैल्यू हो सकता है?
No, it's not possible. As I was saying, that you
One
cannot
key,
have
one value.
You cannot have list in as a key. You can have numbers as a key, you can have strings as a key, but you can never have a list as a key. So a key will have some unique value, and if you try to do that, you will get an error. I myself have also tried. You get an error of that.
Alanka, sir, I have one question, sir.
Yes.
You have given that virtual editor in Python, but in the theory part and all, you have covered with Spider also and Anaconda also, correct?
Yes, yes. You mean
And
Jupyter Notebook?
that editor, can you provide
The
in
Jupyter
the
Notebook?
because we are working, the assignments and all, we are answering only in the virtual editor. It is a normal Python only. It is not Python with data science, correct?
Oh, wherever you, I'm not actually sure what uh, you mean by where you are doing it. Can you
No,
please?
because Anaconda, the virtual editor's structure is little different. Even for
Oh, I
Spider
see.
also,
So,
it is little different.
so the NPTEL is the NPTEL website providing this virtual editor. I'm not actually aware of that.
Okay, okay. No, if you provide this two categories of editors, so we have we can practice in these new editors.
Oh, I was not actually aware of that. So I have not also seen the virtual editor which you are talking about. So where do you can you access the virtual editor?
Yes, sir, we can access. It is provided in the material, sir, in
I
the
see, I see, I see.
lecture material. It is they have given that link.
Oh, I have not actually tried the virtual editor.
Even that they have given sample program also, or we can also use we can type our own program also.
I
Whatever
see, I see,
assignment
I see.
question is
But
there, we are trying and getting answer and answering. So if you provide like a spider editor like that, so we will get another new good experience, in
okay,
Python with.
okay. So this is open source and you can download it from the internet. You just give Anaconda and Anaconda comes with Spider. So you can just download
Oh.
Anaconda and install it and Anaconda Python and you can install it. If it's your Windows, you can download the Windows one.
Yes, sir. We can install it, sir. But if you provide like this virtually, in that link, so that whenever the question comes, we can type in
Oh, I
different
see.
environment.
I'm not sure if that's possible. I'll look if that is
Maybe
possible.
just look into it, sir. Because just
I'll
ask
look into it.
those
Okay,
things,
okay,
sir.
that's a good point. I'll look into it if that's possible. I have not tried anything like that, but I will definitely have a look at it. Thanks for pointing it out.
Thank you, Alankar.
Okay, I think it's way past time, so I would
So
like.
last one question
Yes,
I
yes,
can.
yes, yes, sure, sure, please.
You have given that week zero assignment.
Yeah, week zero.
That week
Yes,
zero assignment is very deep in mathematics,
yes.
statistics, probability.
I know the week zero was just for this is my first time TAing an NPTEL course, so it was just for me to ensure all the logistics is working fine. Or
Yeah, yeah, because you need some mathematical background, then only you can able to attend those. But week one and all, after reading that slides and after
sure,
hearing
sure,
that
sure.
video and all, we can able to answer. But
Yes. Week zero
so
just
if,
was not much related to this course. It was just a dry run for me to ensure everything is working before the first week. So don't get worried about that.
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay,
Uh,
sir.
Alankar,
Yes, please.
week two, assignment two, first question. It says which one of the following functions can be used to resize NumPy array in Python?
Hmm.
And they have given, we can choose multiple options, but I felt only option number three was right syntax wise. The question I had with like the two other options, option A and option B, array dot shape of something, array dot reshape of something. We won't be able to use array dot something because uh, it's defined in a NumPy array, right?
No, you
And
can,
So
you can,
reshape,
you can.
reshape.
You can use it. Like for example, as I was showing a while ago, you can reshape can be used in two different ways. One is this np dot reshape a comma 2 comma 3. So this will reshape your array, and then another one way of doing it is you just give a dot reshape and just give the shape where you want to reshape it to. Like for example, these are two valid ways of doing it. Both does the same thing, but the rest of the two is not the right way of doing it, and you can if you do it you will get errors.
okay. So a dot reshape is a part of NumPy library, right? NumPy functions.
Yes, a is the name of the array basically. So you give the name of the array. A can be anything, like any name of that any array which you have already created, and dot reshape, and then you give this 2 comma 3. So
Okay.
what happens under the hood is actually there is something called a class. So all these are part of the NumPy array class, and you either call a reshape as a part of as a method to this class of NumPy arrays, or a is also, I mean, reshape is also something called a class method, and you can call it directly, but to use it as a class method you pass it as a name, a as an argument. But yeah, I won't go deeper into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir, can you tell me about the object-oriented data science? I got just disconnected.
Yes, object oriented thing, as I was saying, is that this is something called a NumPy class, and any arrays that you create, NumPy arrays, are actually instances or objects of that NumPy class. And reshape, all these different functions are different methods which belong to the NumPy class, and this. So one way of calling is just the name of the array dot reshape, and the other way of calling is this NumPy array dot reshape, because they are also defined as class, something called class methods. But I since I have not talked anything about object oriented programming, and it's too long to cover right now, so I won't discuss anything more on this. Okay, I think today's session was pretty long, and we would like to sign off. And if you have any further questions, you can email me, and I would be happy to answer them. Okay, then. See you all on week 3. Bye.
Thank you, Alankar. It was great.
Thank you, Alankar sir.
Thank you, Bhaiya.